Hi, you cool cats. Cajun here, the Sax Habit Coach, bringing you the best tips, tools, and ideas to help you as a beginner saxophone player develop the practice habits and routines to master your saxophone faster. My purpose is to serve, motivate, and inspire you. So if it's your first time here, consider subscribing and remember to turn on that notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video on this channel. Now, when you listen to different saxophone players, whether they are playing from sheet music or playing by ear, it's not too difficult to figure out if they practice using a metronome. The persons who don't use a metronome, you will often pick up on the discrepancy with the way the melody is being played or the way they play a lick or try to improvise, because there is usually not a straightforward, clear-cut melodic line. So let me break down 5 reasons you should practice with a metronome. Number 1, it will improve your timing. Now, when you practice with a metronome, you develop your sense of time and rhythm, and this allows you always to know where the pulse or beat is when you are playing. Let's say with a backing track, you are recording a piece of music or you're playing with other musicians. Now, have you ever listened to a singer or saxophone player playing and the backing track is either running ahead or they are running ahead of the track? That is what I call a crime of rhythm. Now, that usually happens because the person doesn't have a good sense of timing or rhythm, or they don't know the music well enough. They have not practiced it well enough with the backing track or the musicians. All right. Number 2, it builds speed. If you really want to learn how to play fast, then practice with a metronome. And what you do is practice slowly and increase the metronome incrementally. Now, have you ever noticed some cats, they are blazing on the saxophone, a phrase, a lick, or a passage, and they make it look super simple. Now, that is done through the use of a metronome, and what they do is repeat the phrase over and over and over until it reaches a point where the brain wires it in, where they no longer think about the individual notes they are playing. Number 3, it helps you to slow down. Okay, now we all have a tendency of wanting to play everything very fast, as if playing fast makes one looks brilliant. The metronome will help you to slow down so that you don't drag the music along, and by slowing you down, you are better able to build your technique, and you get to pay attention to your fingers and get to listen to how you sound and be able to develop your technique better. Something you wouldn't be able to do if you were rushing along on the sax. Number 4, it gives a sense of progress when practicing. This is good because it gives you a benchmark to work against for you to know how fast you can actually play a scale, a song, or a passage mistake free without your fingers flying all over the whole place. Okay? And number 5, evenness of fingers. Now, this helps your technique, and I found that when you use a metronome, and let's say you slow it down to 45 to 50 beats per minute, you get to lock your fingers on the keys of your sax, which enables you to play more smoothly when you are going fast. And if you really want to develop close fingers on your sax, use a metronome and slow it down and take note of how your fingers move on the keys while you are playing. Now, I use a metronome to practice every day. Even when I'm playing long tones, I use the metronome as 1 stone to kill 3 birds. I'm consistently building my internal rhythm. Number 2, I'm using it to develop breath control, as the slower the metronome, the longer I have to hold each whole note, etc. And number 3, I'm using it for the evenness of my fingers to build a great technique over the long run. So I want you to check out the next video in this series, in which I'll show you how to practice with a metronome. As always, cool cats, push, play until something happens. Yes.